Today's discussion will be exploring mental and physical wellness based on science and bridging the gap between mind and body, and providing you with different strategies and tools along with background information around the science of our brain health. So, what even is brain health? So brain health is basically when we keep our brain in a state that's in necessarily homeostasis, I would like to call it. And homeostasis basically refers to balance. So a healthy brain is a brain that's not too stimulated when it doesn't need to be, a brain that's not inflamed, a brain that has healthy neurons, a brain that has healthy um, outside neurons, the ones that we're used to. So outside of sensory motor neurons, making sure that our immune cells are great, making sure our other neurons are also great, like our astrocytes and different neurons in the brain as well. And also making sure that the rest of our central nervous system, our peripheral nervous system is operating how it should be. So why is brain health even important? So an introduction into my talk today will be the brain is important for many different functions. Our brain literally is who we are and it rules our life. From the beginning of evolution, when brains first came around, to how we as humans develop brains that to now in modern society, we are literally the rulers of all biological organisms on this planet. And we are a species that is continuing to evolve because of our brains and their capabilities, because especially mainly because of our executive centers like our cerebrum. And then a part of that, you have our frontal lobe, you have the different cortexes in that frontal lobe that all have very great functions as well. But our brain is important to be healthy because our brain is responsible for cognition, which refers to learning, thinking, task switching, rationality, consciousness. When I say consciousness, I don't mean being awake. I mean being self-aware and being able to navigate and being able to socially interact and that kind of thing. And also, like I said, emotions, to be able to perform intellectually and physically. Of course, it's responsible for a lot of motor movement and coordination. And of course, disease prevention. We all know of MS. We all know of Parkinson's. We all know of cancer. We all know of dementia. Longevity is a result of brain health as well. And we all know as we get older, a lot of sensational things decline in terms of like, being able to feel things, being able to see, being able to smell certain things, being able to hear. We have to get various aids as we get older, unfortunately. And then the quality of life. It's a common theme that people be like, we're going to die anyway. Let's just indulge in our vices. But I mean, you can indulge in vices while still prioritizing health because who wants to always wake up feeling sick or who always wants to wake up feeling stressed or who always wants to wake up feeling angry, probably as a result of being stressed? Who wants to wake up feeling isolated or feeling disconnected? Who wants to wake up feeling like lazy and sluggish? You want to wake up feeling vibrant, vital, alive, mentally clear. So I'll be discussing mental health, physical health, mindset, cognition, purpose, environment, relationships, nutrition, and sleep. So mental health and brain function. So when I'm talking about mental health here, I'm not strictly talking about the biologically only, but I'll be also talking about the psychological side of it. So the quality of our mental health impacts many other things and vice versa. So I'll later talk about mind-body connection, but if your mental health isn't well, your emotions will tend to reflect that. So people with poor mental health tend to have conditions like depression or heightened levels of anxiety, or it may not that be extreme, but they may have prolonged sadness. They may feel disconnected in many capacities. Their cognitive health may be in decline because of their poor psychological mental well-being. Their relationships suffer either because they're not open to relationships or don't know how to engage in relationships or not motivated to engage. And that can also be a loop of how people interact with you as a person with poor mental health as well. And who most people unless you want to help out that person or you love and care about the person, you don't want to be around people who are basically always sad or always pessimistic. And also impacts the physiology and the productivity, which refer to the biological side and the rest of the body. So some strategies to help improve mental wellness would be, of course, seeking out support, talking to someone, therapy. It could be healthy living, which is comprised of making sure that you exercise because exercise have proven benefits to improve mental health from just a pure biological standpoint. That also helps with stress management, activities, which can actually be exercise. It can be therapy. It can be many creative acts as well. And of course, establishing boundaries, whether that's with work, whether that's with people, and a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, a sense of impact, and a sense of advancement. All those things can be found in community. That's why religion is effective, political parties is effective, sports is effective, college is effective, family is effective, nations are effective, clubs, groups of all kind of organizations are all effective because they help foster community because we are, of course, social species. We have all different levels of the spectrum. Many of us can do well in solitude. Many of us hate solitude. It all depends. But we all, no matter how extreme, and if you're super on the extreme where you don't even need nobody at all, usually you tend to fall in a little psychological category that I won't get into. And that's like a neuroplasticity. It'll be dived into multiple times. But neuroplasticity is basically the brain's ability to form new neural connections. So let me give you a picture of that. Just give you some little visualization, and visualization also enhances neuroplasticity as well. But many of you who are familiar with how neurons look, and you know that it's electrical impulses that transmits these long axons and then goes on to these branchy cell bodies and transmit from one to the other. That's basically what our brain is comprised of, along with fluid and other things that help and some other tissues and things that surround it. But brain is filled of billions of neurons and trillions of synapses, and allows us to, be able to adapt to positive and negative stress, and that also aids in evolution. It helps us with consolidating of memories. It helps with also learning in that regard. It helps with growth, um, whether that's from developmental aspect, from like an infant to an adult, or it could be psychological growth or personal growth, whatever that is, all of that involves the process of neuroplasticity. So physical health and brain function, well, this has probably been a common thing for a while in terms of physical health. You know that, getting exercise, walking, dancing, even doing a lot of breath work is now common. But the mind and body is, of course, connected. Biologically, it's look at it, your brain is connected to your spine, your nerve is connected to all your muscles, and the muscles are connected to your skeletal system. All of it is literally physically connected. And there are various pathways that are involved in that mind body connection that I just mentioned. So, why is exercise even important? And exercise, this can mean walking, yoga, doing a sport, going to the gym, anything that involves movement beyond just like getting up out of a chair, but really concentrated and intentional movement can be classified as exercise in this sense. But from a physical standpoint, it improves cardiovascular health. Well, on a brief scope, like how does that even work? So cardiovascular would be your heart and your circulatory system, meaning your blood vessels. So basically, how it helps that is it increases blood flow to different parts of your body. It allows your vessels to be in use. It allows inflammation to go down. It allows everything to be transported effectively how it should, and it decreases risk for your heart being underactive. But of course, you have to do it in moderation. But I'm not a cardiologist, but that's just a brief of what it is. It strengthens muscles and bones by creating the new muscle cells that adapt at a cellular level. And of course, your bone health and bone density supports weight management. So, the weight management standpoint, when you exercise, you burn fat. And the reason why you burn fat is you need to burn fat and you need to burn the carbs that is flowing in your bloodstream and in your cells to create that ATP, that energy molecule, to be able to allow you to exercise, because everything that takes work on a micro and a macro level requires energy. So you burn energy and utilize that energy. So that's basically how that works. But exercise isn't the main determinant um, for weight management as well. And also reduce the risk of chronic diseases, and that's kind of a vague thing. Mental health, cognitive function, stress reduction, sleep quality. So mindset and cognition. So our mindset does influences our brain health. So our psychology affects our biology through neuroplasticity, stress, cognition, and emotions. So if you're a person who has a growth mindset, you love newer experiences, this enhances the neuroplasticity aspect. If you're a person who's optimistic, who ends up becoming resilient, that helps lower down your stress because you're able to be balanced and be able to be self-regulated. And that kind of ties in with emotions and thinking as well. And positive thinking and growth mindset, this can be because once you have a strong belief, and that's a good belief that's benefiting you, that influences your biology in so many great ways, because it increases motivation, which can be because of a surplus of various neurotransmitters and hormones, various things going on in the underlying biology as well. But ways to help rewire your mindset is to challenge yourself, challenge your thoughts, cultivate that self awareness, understand your subconscious mind, gaining new perspectives, learning from diverse sources, practicing mindfulness, practicing gratitude, like from a simple level, just being grateful for your health, for your intelligence, for the people around you, and being compassionate and having self love. That also stems with gratitude, and also support, like that social connection factor, especially with people who care about you and positive and like minded, is very, very effective. Purpose in life. So having purpose in life is very, very essential because it gives you motivation to want to get up and conquer the world and pursue. Now, this may be vary for different sectors and different cultures and things like that, but a common theme of humans is I want to feel like my life has meaning. I want to feel like I have worth. I want to feel like I'm working towards something, whether it's for a selfish gain, whether it's for my family, whether it's for my partner, whether it's for my neighborhood, whether it's for my community, whether it's for my country, whether it's for my team, whether it's for humanity, whatever that looks like. Having motivation and something to wake up and work for allows you to want to get out and do what you need to do and also be healthy. So you care about yourself more, you care about others more. So it's like a whole loop of how it benefits society. So environmental factors. So I had done some recent research on testosterone effects by metals in men, and mercury, lead, cadmium. Some other ones had some strong effects on testosterone levels in men. Testosterone is a steroid hormone that binds to our DNA essentially and basically alters gene expression. So these things can be through gases in the air, it can be through injection, it can be through food. It's very different sources, but basically these particles bind to receptors in your body, and they can also alter your gene expression. It could take up space, not allowing the right hormones to bind to where they need to bind. Um, Affect our blood pressure, affect our membranes, and it can deteriorate them. It can cause a lot of inflammation in the body, and inflammation is never good for various reasons. Nutrition. So of course, besides sleep, which you get into in the next slide, nutrition is very, very valuable for the body because, like a car, you need fuel for your engine to run. So this would be the form of energy, and energy is derived from food, and food is basically a bunch of molecules put together in various different structures that serve various different functions. So you have proteins, you have carbs, and you have lipids. So lipids are one of probably the greatest energy source for the body. Carbs are like quick, easy sources for the body. And protein is also kind of in the middle with that. But they all serve different functions. Proteins more so serve functions in terms of like transporters and hormones and neurotransmitters and other messengers and membranes and different things like that, proteins. So all of them have different functions in the body. But fatty acids are a type of lipids, they're good. Antioxidants are also essentially rich in proteins and rich in carbs as well. Then you have protein rich foods. So when you see proteins, carbs, lipids, they're basically foods that are rich in that. Now, for example, a strawberry is classified as a carbohydrate because it's rich in carbs, but it also has proteins and things like that in it. It's just a lot of nomenclature thrown out there. But sleep, sleep is important for, cellular repair. It's important for our body to be able to return to a baseline rate, or we call it homeostasis. It allows your memory to consolidate. It allows the right hormones to be secreted. You have brain-derived neurotrophic factor that also can result from exercise, but you have human growth hormone that also all assist in neuroplasticities and cellular health and also metabolic health. And but tips for improving sleep would be having good sleep routines, having, waking up and going to sleep at pretty much equal time, having the right sleep environment. So limiting the noise, making sure like it's not a lot of crazy gases, making sure that you're in a safe environment, making sure that the temperature is right,